Hello, welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 61 for April 7th, 2013. My name's Tony, and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters, Mark and Jason.
What's up? Hi.
Evil Dead!
How are you?
Jesus Christ. We're doing this shit again?
Who's evil and who's dead?
Yeah, we went to go check that out a little earlier today.
Well, 2/3 of the FC team went to go check that out.
Mark had to do homework.
I had secret agent missions to do and
Bullshit.
save the world.
Bullshit.
So how's
You were
everybody's
whacking it.
How's everybody week been going?
I got healthy.
Yeah, you're not dying anymore. That's good
Yeah.
news. That's always good news.
Well, today's WrestleMania.
So you're like,
What's
sitting there.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what's that?
4K.
Yeah, so we're recording a little early because of said WrestleMania.
Light hurts my eyes.
It is like ridiculously early. I don't think we've recorded this early in like 8 months.
Pretty sure we recorded this early.
Yeah, it was like two
weeks ago. And then in January.
No, it was like 4 o'clock. It wasn't at like 2.
And then January when we did this, during
You're
the
a
Royal
whore.
Rumble.
You're a filthy whore, Jason.
That'll show him.
Anyway, I suppose we can hop into our weekly roundtable and catch everybody up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
I'm very proud to say what I played this week. I did very little bit of Borderlands and Bioshock, but I'm saving my favorite two for afterwards. I actually bought Battle Blocks Theater.
I didn't know it was for sale yet.
Yeah, it went on sale this week.
I gotta go buy them
It's
shits.
absolutely awesome, actually. I'm not really a platforming fan, but this is one of those ones that's not really frustrating, and they have such a forgiving aspect of it. Like, you can die. Like, both you can die if you're doing co-op at the exact same time, only to respawn 10 feet behind you, and nothing is absolutely jammed. Like, there's no even load screens. It's great. I love it. And then I am also very proud to say that I finally got into Company Heroes 2. Beta was this entire week, a stress test. So I actually got my first game in, I think, earlier today when I was supposedly saving the world.
Oh, yeah, when you were supposedly doing homework. He's sitting at home diddling his pooter, and
Well, yeah. Well, this was at, like, noon.
that's what time the movie was.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Take that, Mark.
Yeah, so I saved the world from Russian scum. No, actually, I was Russian, and I lost to the Germans quite single-handedly. Anywho, but that was awesome, and I have to say Relic did a really good job on that, and that's, I think, has a June release date now. So, yeah.
Cool.
Hooray!
Hooray!
It's very finished right now, so that's good.
Did it go gold yet or no?
No, not yet. There's you can still see there's AI hiccups still. Like, people are getting caught on each other, like 2 units and stuff, but that's the only thing I saw. But
Nice.
Worth it, and it'll sell a shit ton of copies, so go buy it.
How about yourself, good sir?
I did some Borderlands 2. I did some Yu-Gi-Oh! I did Need for Speed Most Wanted. I did Terraria. And then I've been playing Injustice Gods Among Us on my iPad, which is actually pretty badass for being a free app, which Mark was just playing 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I was watching him play. It looked kind of cool, actually. I'm not much for touchscreen gaming, but looked all right, actually.
Yeah.
I'll touch your screen.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, you will.
How
How did you like Terraria, by the way?
I'm still getting used to it. The controls.
I didn't like it on the console version, I guess.
Well, fuck you.
Because it was hard to control where you're aiming.
No, that's why they got where you click the analog stick in and it changes.
Yeah, that's what I
You
like.
got to do the tutorial.
I did.
No, you didn't. You're
I did.
lying.
There's nothing else you can do in the trial
lying
version.
right to his face.
Well, you didn't finish it. You didn't get far enough to where.
No,
it
they
actually
said go
clicked.
find a boss and no direction, so I just kind of dug down and then I ran out of torches.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, I'm done.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
As for myself, I had another pretty sad week because I was working too goddamn much.
Couldn't get it up.
But, yeah, no. I actually did a little Earthworm Jim HD while we were here waiting for Mark because fucking over here.
That was like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, I was just playing that shit. And I started Bioshock Infinite, which I am absolutely in love with, but I'm not...
the combat.
Huh?
I love the combat.
I'm not far enough into it
too,
to give anything other than the first 2 hours is amazing. It's everything I hoped it was.
We're actually very similar, I think, in time-wise. I literally just got... Are you at Battleship A yet? It's pretty obvious when we're...
No, I'm still at...
It's a giant waterfall that just falls off into the fucking sky. It's kind of cool.
No, I'm not there yet.
Okay, yeah, that's like where I'm at.
Yeah. Sluts.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I actually just got equipped with everything because I'm like with Bioshocks. I love exploring everything.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I'm trying to find all those things. What are they called? The Vox somethings.
Oh, like the
audio
logs.
Voxophones. Yeah, they're audio logs. So I'm like exploring every nook and cranny. I probably put in like 4 hours into the game, but I'm assuming I'm only like an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I probably at like 5 overall in the last 2 weeks, and I chapter 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I love it. It's like so far. I mean, it was my early pick for Game of the Year before I'd played any of these things. And we'll see if it holds up to it after I'm done.
Still got
hopefully I'll have it done in the next week or two.
Yeah, Watch Dogs.
And Grand Theft Auto.
I'm just saying, it was
Evil Dead.
It was my Evil Dead. Yeah, it was my early pick for Game of the Year. So we'll see if it lives up to
maybe Saints Row.
my expectations.
Yeah, it's all good games this year.
That's pretty much all I played this week.
Yep.
Pretty sad week.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. This is King of the Hill. You have to say yup too.
No.
Nope.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
Yep.
So I'm going to be cutting this portion out.
News! And here we're going to go with the weekly Wii U bash. Aliens Colonial Marines has been cancelled. There's not much.
Is this good news or bad news?
Yes.
Good news. This is the best Wii U news.
Yeah, this is the best Wii U news.
I do have actually a really good story to go with the Wii U, though. They have the Deus Ex game that is coming out. They are actually, I did read up on it, they are actually redoing the bosses, too, and they're not exporting it to any other console. So the 10 people who pick it up will get to play the game how it probably should have been made originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we're on the Wii U, do you have that other thing about the Wii U or not?
Probably not.
Okay. This week it came out that it actually increased 125% in Japan, sales-wise. But I think that's a little misleading because
they probably just doubled sales for like a month before.
Well, no, week over week. Because a big game launched. I forgot what it's called, but
Monster Hunter,
even
Shumigami Nimi Nominu.
Even
Numu 5
Ultimate Ninja Storm.
I mean, last week they only sold like 5,000 units there. So this week,
really?
So this week they sold like 11,000. They're like, oh, it's exploding in Japan. It's 125% increase. And it's like, well,
very misleading.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting.
Yeah. It's kind of like with the Vita. What did they say? Well, it was the quadrupling sales, and it expanded all the way up to 8 times or something. The sales.
Yeah, but it was still like
but it was still like
units.
Yeah. I mean, that's good, but
for the Vita, from that's really good.
What you actually are selling in a week, it's just better than you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's doing a little better in Japan.
Japan just seems like they want to buy stuff lately.
The States doesn't have much coming until Pikmin, though, right?
No, and Pikmin isn't going to be
now that
big
Lego,
of a system seller, I don't
now
think.
that Lego City
I'm a
came
huge
out.
fan of it, but yeah. I also found out the Lego City that's on the 3DS that I was actually thinking about getting is a prequel story to the entire Wii U one. So it's kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so it might be something I can do eventually.
Very, very interesting.
Anywho, news! I'm actually kind of surprised this didn't
More
come up.
news!
I'm kind of surprised this didn't come up earlier. Sega Studios in Australia is actually set to close later this year. The last game they did was Stormrise and then Medieval 2 Total War. I mean, we talked about Sega. It's been a long time since we talked about the Sega Studios closing. But kind of surprising it went on for like another, 6 months or so, it seemed like.
They forgot about it.
Yeah, probably. Like, oh shit, we have that studio down there, don't they? Has anyone called them?
Are they?
Did they unlock?
Are they aware that they're?
I know they
being
had the
shut
Christmas party lock-in. Did anyone go to unlock the door afterwards? Just one guy left over. How did he survive? Don't ask.
No, it always sucks when a studio closes, but what are you gonna do? I mean, Sega's. I don't think this is a huge thing for Sega. Sega's still pretty big. They got a lot of
studios that's going to make them so much money.
Yeah, this is probably just one thing that they're closing just to
there's
conserving a little money. Maybe it's a studio that
cool.
didn't make too much money because
Stormrise,
I know what it looks like because I work at
I know
a
the
game store, but I would have never heard of it otherwise. No. And the Medievals are okay, but
that they haven't been out in a long time either. It's like 3 games old, so you're talking about like 4 years, maybe 5 years at this point.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. News! More news! This is going off of our Fireside Chat, if you did not catch it last week. Square Enix got a new president, and he's actually going to be going over the entire company and figure out what is actually working for the company and what doesn't. And he's going to cut costs, because he wants to cut costs across the board. And basically, if you're not cutting it, you're getting cut.
I'm going to take full credit for this, because I'm assuming they heard of the podcast and they heard me bitching and moaning about it last week, because this sounds great, and the guy's promising a lot right now. Like Mark was saying, he's going to go back over everything. He's going to basically clean house.
Yeah.
And
I would not want to be in Square Enix as a lowly worker.
Yeah, maybe now they'll finally make something that'll actually, make money for them as opposed to just...
But making Final Fantasy games that never come out because you don't like them after 3 years of production was working so well.
Yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that really has to go. I mean, they're like...
Maybe it should actually be the Final Fantasy.
No, but for being a company that big, it's like... It's so sad watching that. Like, it's like I was saying last week, without Eidos or whatever, what do they have?
I don't know.
It's
whatever they're selling in Japan.
I don't know. It's like
nothing that's impressed people in America for a while.
Yeah.
If just as Square, it's all your subsidiaries.
They got to redo a lot of stuff. They got to relook at like their sales expectations and kind of like put them in check. Like,
yeah, I know.
They're like, oh, Tomb Raider only sold almost 4 million copies in 1 month. It's a failure.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I forgot to order the pay-per-view.
Oh, that would have been a problem.
Is that what you just went to?
Sorry. I was like, oh shit, it's 4 o'clock. I should go hit order.
So what you missed was...
Fuck Sega.
No, that was
we moved on to Square
Fuck Final
Enix.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully they make a good Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Maybe this reorganization
definitely
will help. I don't know.
Once you keep doing this yearly games, you're going to lose something, and you got to, I don't know, take stock of what was good, what was bad.
We had a ton of comments on the YouTube page regarding this.
What, the Fireside Chat?
Yeah, for Final Fantasy and things like that.
It looks like they heard me. That's the story you missed. They actually...
No, I heard that.
Yeah, they fired the dude. Yeah, it's looking good.
And if it wasn't for my excellent audio skills of being able to post everything, nobody would have heard you. No. So I'm going to take the credit that you're taking away from you and give it to me.
And Mark's going to take it away from both of us.
Take it away from both of you because I was on a secret mission that would have exploded the world.
Evil Dead.
And if I didn't succeed in my mission, no one would have heard it anyway.
No.
I think that's the ultimate win.
No.
Yeah, hopefully they make good Final Fantasy now. Maybe they'll finally get on track with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh god, I don't even know if I'll like it at this point.
Well, maybe I'm just saying. Maybe they could maybe this guy can finally clean house and actually do something well.
Their story just pissed me off after going through all the stupid handheld games. I call them stupid because the story got all convoluted and bullcrap.
Yeah, convoluted.
I hate when they go like, "Oh no, we kind of fucked up, so now we have to make an alternative universe, and then we're gonna
welcome to comic books.
We're gonna write out that character for a while, and then we're gonna get a second one who you can play as while the other one's sleeping." And
they write themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna that'll be a fireside chat for me of games that are doing that lately. I'm doing it bad. News!
More news!
Going into Telltale Games, this used to be my actual favorite game from Telltale before Walking Dead came out. Poker Night at the Inventory. A second one was announced and dated for sometime this summer. The characters this time around, have either of you actually played this game first off?
I have not, but I have heard about it, and I honestly, because they announced it on April 1st, thought that they were fucking with people when they announced some of who was going to be in it.
Yeah.
I also have not played it.
It's poker.
It's
with
poker
video
with
game characters.
Some of the coolest characters. Like, the first one, the standout was the Heavy from Team Fortress 2, and he's just making... it's a general poker game, and it just with the characters who just talk shit the whole time.
That's kind of cool.
It's funny, and they're like
for this one.
And
they're
like
play it.
$5, so it's like whatever. Yeah. All right, so the lineup for this one is GLaDOS is actually going to be the dealer this time around. Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers will replace the Heavy. Claptrap from Borderlands. Sam from Sam & Max, that was doing Sam & Max, and Ash from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness.
Nice.
Yes. Evil Dead!
This actually sounds kind of cool.
And what they did first time was basically at one point each character gives up like a gun or something like iconic from that character. Like the Heavy gave off his machine gun because he didn't have enough money to buy in. This time around, that was going for Team Fortress 2 unlocks. If you buy it on Xbox, they will actually unlock stuff in Borderlands 2.
Yep.
So it actually be like special heads and stuff, which
Very
is cool.
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
so an Ash head, Borderlands. More reason for me not to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because Ash is from Evil Dead!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What are you going to do next week now that Walking Dead's over and Evil Dead has been seen?
Got a back catalog.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I can't spoil it. But yeah, so there you go. Check it out. Cool poker, but mostly for...
I don't really play
Bingo,
poker, but I
yeah,
plan
me
on picking
neither.
this up, to be honest.
It's like, they're like $5. Whatever. Works
Yeah.
for me. Anywho, next sexy story. Netflix ending up with my favorite April Fool's joke last week. The categories, if you went on to Netflix that day, were reality TV about people with no concept of reality, movies starring actors who look like Zach Galifianakis, and movies featuring an epic Nicolas Cage meltdown.
Yeah, that was my favorite category.
I like that, but the one that I liked better for April Fool's, and everybody's asking why we didn't do one.
We did one last year.
We're not creative people.
Yeah, I just
I don't
forgot.
know. I don't know if we could have pulled it off again this year.
Was
Oh yeah, that was funny. I remember.
what's
now.
we saw the trailer today for Seth Rogen and James Franco. They're doing this movie called The
Yeah.
End. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah, they look
Yeah,
good.
something like
Yeah,
that.
and they put out a trailer of them in the movie making Pineapple Express 2. So it was them in the movie doing a trailer for Pineapple Express 2 in basically the Fallout shelter.
That's funny.
I mean, I guess technically we didn't do one, but I did put up the Legend of Zelda trailer from IGN from a couple years ago. So, I mean,
That was like 2008.
yeah, it was still, I mean, it still pissed a lot of people off, so it was great. I have to say, my favorite for April Fool's by far, besides the movie trailer, was Apple.
Oh, the streaming
No,
box?
they released the
gaming
console.
service.
Their
Yeah,
console
game console. That's
that
it,
only plays Angry Birds.
yeah.
Because why would you want to play anything else?
My disappointment one of the year was Deus Ex one was actually a April Fool's joke. Like if you watch it's like a 6-minute of the two guys coming up with the idea, and it's like they go to the creative director and like, look at this game. They have all these like posters and like he's just like throwing them out. He's like, get the fuck out of here.
One of the better ones that I also saw, since it is WrestleMania today, is they only put it up for about 2 hours. Is WWE put up a thing announcing that they had released John Cena from his contract. But then they probably thought, well, we can't leave that up for too long because then people are going to get pissed off and not order WrestleMania. So yeah, it was only up for a short period of time.
Short period.
Yeah.
Well, it's a funny one. Did you have any favorite ones?
Actually, I dug the Netflix one. I didn't know that was going to be a story, so I didn't really think about it much beyond that. But the Nicolas Cage thing to me was hysterical.
Yeah.
The meltdown shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Cool. We'll go to the least sexy story of the week. This is kind of a reflection on one of the biggest studio closures we've had in a long time, which was LucasArts.
Yeah.
They closed the door, laying off about 150 people, which basically at this point means Star Wars 1313 and...
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah, I know.
dun,
Is this your fault? Could be our fault.
Could be our fault.
See, that's what you get.
But they're not dead.
Yeah.
These can be picked up by anybody.
Yeah.
It's the gaming universe coming back and slapping you guys with karma for forcing Darth Vader in the tournament.
It's not damn right. He
Forced me.
He forced himself with his
Forced
fucking
choke.
choke.
By the way, we'll get to that later because you
Forced
got
throat.
some splaining to do.
I'm not worried about it.
Some peeps are upset with you,
I'm not worried about it.
homeboy.
I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it.
I actually did some digging though. The last 3 games that LucasArts actually did as a non-consulting company was Force Unleashed 2, Clone Wars Republic Heroes, and I've never even heard of this one, Lucidity?
Sure.
Was
Never
it download? They also did Star Wars Connect.
They were consultants.
Were
on that.
they?
They were.
Well, that's what they get.
We don't
Yes.
really count anything Kaneko, do we?
No.
They counted when we were doing the comparison against original IPs versus for PlayStation and PS or 360 a couple weeks back. So
And this goes all the way to 2009 with those 3 games. So they've released. Force Unleashed was good, just too short, but they've released basically
Jack
crud
shit.
for 3 years, and they've been doing consultants for games that are almost worse.
They did the MMO one too, but I mean, they had to drop that to free to play just to keep subscribers.
That one was BioWare.
Yeah, that was not.
They
were consulting again.
Yeah,
like literally, IGN has an entire thing on it of what they were actually consulting on and what they were actually doing. What they were doing was nothing, and really anyone could. The Disney could be the consultants. That's why LucasArts really, when they went in depth into the story, there was no reason to keep them around, which was sad, but.
I mean, this might not be all bad if they're okay with licensing the stuff out, and somebody actually wants to pick the stuff up. Because with Disney at the helm, I don't even know when's the last good Disney video game that came out for anything in our age bracket.
It's interesting because I mean, technically, that's the second Disney closure in a month.
Yeah.
Well, Disney's pulling pretty much all ties from the video game world now. They still got that Infinite crap coming out, but if that doesn't pan out. Or Infinity, excuse me.
Yeah,
I got BioShock on the brain.
Yeah, whatever.
But I mean, it does open the door for better equipped people to make some of these games, because
LucasArts is awesome. I mean, they made a ton. They made a ton of great games.
If you go back pre 2005 or 6, they actually do have almost a good game release every other year or so. And it's been recently, even during that time, they were still in a huge consultant role. But that's just the big downfall is that they were consulting games and they weren't really making.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure George Lucas has an entire Bible for that they can just hand to people and go, here, you figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure. So that's the news of the week. Last thing I wanted to say, what was your favorite LucasArts game overall of the last, 20 years or so?
Force Unleashed 1.
Force Unleashed 1? What about you?
Probably something that Tim Schafer did.
Something that Tim Schafer did?
Yeah. Being honest.
Yeah. If we're going with something that was all LucasArts, I'd probably have to say Jedi Outcast. Be a good one for me.
Yeah, it was a good one too.
Before we transition to...
Revenge of the Sith was excellent too, on PS2.
Yeah.
Before we transition too far, again, because it's WrestleMania... and it's video game relevant.
What does that mean?
They've announced who will be on the cover of WWE 2K14. They announced it Friday. No.
Tony?
The Rock will be on the cover of the
next to Tony. He's The Rock's in the background, then Tony.
Yeah. So that was kind of semi-relevant.
And real quick, I wanted to throw this in at the top of the show, but I totally forgot since this is a good pausing point. This is our final week of doing the show in this format. Next week, we're going to try what we were kind of explaining last week, where we're going to have news and social media on one section. Then we're going to cut it off and do topic of the week on a second section. We're going to try it for 2 or 3 weeks. If it doesn't work out, we're not scared to come back to this format. We're just going to try it out. So keep us posted afterwards and let us know if you guys are okay with it or not. If not, no big deal. We'll go back to how we were doing it now.
We're probably going to do news posting on Sunday, Monday, and then the topic we were talking about Thursday or something.
That I don't know if we're going to do yet.
Yeah,
we'll figure that out. We might still...
It might. If anything, it might be easiest for me to do one of them on Monday and then the next one on Tuesday.
Whatever, yeah.
So that gives enough people enough time to get through the first half. If we go that route instead of trying to hit them with.
Now we have to learn how to do the annotations to go to part 2. We're doomed. So doomed.
No.
So anyway, we're gonna try it for 3 weeks. We said, and we'll see how it pans out after that.
8 weeks later.
Yeah. All right. So on to social media. I was waiting for it. All right.
They had a pause.
Jumping right into it. Gabe Bustos.
What's up, Gabe?
What's up?
He asked, what character survived a story that you shot... What characters survived a story that you thought should have died? Cough. Navi. Cough.
Oh, it's awesome.
Someone should have died.
Fucking Tingle. I hate that guy.
You do.
I can't stand that son of a bitch.
Who should have died that survived?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Epic games of people dying.
I think Darth Vader should have died.
Oh no, he can't die.
He's dead.
Bullshit!
Hey, he's like half robot.
Bullshit!
Half robot.
Who should have died that
This is a rough one.
I know.
Usually I have
There's so
something
many.
immediately.
See...
Somebody should have died. Well, if we're going off of new Gears, I think Paddock should have died.
Yeah, I hate that motherfucker.
I hate that motherfucker.
Realistically, I think Dom should have died in Gears 2.
That's the one I was going to go to for if I couldn't come up with something in the next
Dom
minute or
should have
two.
died in Gears 2, as opposed to over halfway through 3. That would be mine.
I think Bond should probably be dead at this point. I mean, come on. You just can't keep doing that the rest of your
calm
life. Oh, man.
Well, all right. Think of a video game character that you absolutely fucking despise. Leon Kennedy should have died.
No.
Yeah.
If anything, it should have been Chris Redfield.
Fuck you! Don't start this shit again. We've had a nice day so far.
It's been a lovely day, filled with strolls in the
It's
park,
like 60 degrees out.
picnic baskets galore.
We held hands in the movie theater.
Hey,
Shit, I really have no idea. Can we come back to this?
Sure,
Can I think
we'll
about it a little
circle
bit?
back around.
This is a rough one.
Gabe also asked, he said, I'm writing a paper on the benefits of video games for school. Do you have any good sources?
sources. Google. No.
Like a physical source, yeah, Google would work really well. But if you were to type in
relief.
certain things, one like Marco said,
Like
stress relief.
Yeah,
One,
like positives of video games.
There's actually a lot of studies that prove that video games build up on your they build up on your dexterity and your hand-eye coordination. This is like proven facts that actually give you a quicker reaction time. It's got to do something with stress, right? It's got to make you feel
definitely.
better. Go ahead. Sorry.
Gabe's a buddy of yours, correct?
Oh, no, they're talking about Brendan.
Okay. No, Brent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Either way,
we're kind of buddies. He
had-
writes to me a lot.
We've had a friend on several times by the name of Tina Garcia, and she has actually written a report of different aspects of benefits of video games and psychological portions of it and everything. So I would say if you're looking for somebody to bounce some ideas off of, reach out to her. You can find her on Facebook and stuff like that. I guarantee you she wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Another big thing, I think that if you're writing a paper, this would be a great opportunity to enlighten some people about the BS that's going on in Congress right now, where they're saying that video games, the violence in video games is actually coming off onto people. And the truth is there's zero studies that have actually proved any evidence that shows that violence in video games actually affects the person who's playing. There's anything you hear is BS. It's all false.
And if you want a great reference point or something to base it off of, go back to the debacle from the late 80s, early 90s involving music. And how, music supposedly had these satanic overtones that were getting people to kill each other and stuff like that. That was another big Congress thing. So you can use that as a reference point.
If you go back in history, this happens every decade or something with some kind of new media. I mean, before music, like he was saying, or the internet, and before that it was television and rock and roll, and before that it was, X, blah, blah, the radio.
Yeah.
Just plain radio in the 30s and 40s. Before that it was something else. There's always something that people complain about that is ruining the youth of America when it's just not true and it holds no water.
Nice.
So,
Sweet. So, next question. Brendan Joyce
up,
asked,
Brendan?
said, can we play Wizard Staff when we do the drunk cast? Are you gentlemen familiar with what
yeah.
Wizard
I know what
I've
Wizard
watched,
Staff is.
I've watched him do it.
what is Wizard Staff?
Go for it. I know what it
Well,
is. but I'll
as
let
you're
you-
drinking beer, you get a second beer after finishing your first one, and you have some sort of nice tape, maybe duct tape, and just gonna wrap it around, and
Jesus
by the
Christ.
end of the night, you have a wizard staff
Nice.
of beer cans.
I like it. We can do that.
we could do
I have no
that. Sure.
problem with this.
Sweet. Andrew Dillon.
What's up, Andrew?
So,
He said, if you could choose any power from any Marvel superhero, who would you choose? And he said, I can't pick Batman. Because Batman's DC. but
I actually
obviously-
already know what I would do. I would actually take Nightcrawlers,
You son of a whore.
and I would teleport.
Fuck, that's the one I was going to go with. Okay, I'll
I
get
thought
it.
about that so much already.
Wolverine, motherfucker.
Schnick, schnick.
Yep. Schnicky, schnicky, schnoink. Snoogin. I said, fuck that up. Snoogans.
Shit, dude. I don't know that many comic book characters. What else happens?
Tony would be Spider-Man, but he would shoot web from his penis.
You know what?
Poison.
I would take Spider-Man's thing. That thing's the guy almost can fly. That's crawl, fucking up buildings and
Do you
shit.
want to fly? There's plenty of Marvel
Yeah, I was
superheroes
gonna say.
that fly.
What?
I mean, you can be rogue. She steals people's powers.
Fuck that noise.
You can touch people and steal their life
Yeah,
force
but she
and
can't.
energy.
She can't ever get laid because she can't touch anything. Because then
It's called condoms.
Yeah, but then you can't
Body
grope or
condoms.
feel anything.
Latex. You can be into bondage.
Full body latex
The gimp.
outfit. Fuck that noise.
Tony only does half of those.
Yeah. Who else
He
can
just
fly?
likes the ball gag.
Who else can fly?
Is
I'm
this
gonna go with
comic?
Spider-Man.
Okay.
I like Spider-Man. He's a cool dude.
Why not Batman? I'm
Spider-Man.
surprised.
Because he's DC.
Yeah.
It's Marvel.
Oh,
only.
he's okay. I thought it was
And
just.
he made a
comic
point
books.
to say that I couldn't pick Batman.
Oh, okay.
So.
You can't pick him, but Tony.
We also missed Andrew's question from last week because we were too busy trying to force Tony to sing for his birthday.
What's up, Andrew? Again.
He said, has there ever been a part of a story, be it the voice acting, storyline, or whatever, that tried so hard to be serious but failed so bad that it made you laugh? Dom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene with Maria was fucking lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emotions don't come over very well.
But I don't
in
want
that
to.
game.
I don't want to pick that because fucking.
We always go back to that.
Because it was like such a good game that gets to this point where it's just
negative.
like, yeah, and then like Marcus is like, you ready? Let's go fuck some shit up. It's like, how about going and getting the guy a fucking beer or something? Let him sit for a minute.
And it's a chick writer. She should have
Yeah.
more emotional
Yeah,
feelings.
what the fuck, man? She forgot her estrogen pill. Do you have any?
I don't know why I'm so worthless today. I can't fucking think of anything.
So what we got here? Part of a story. Serious.
This is making great
Trying to think
podcasts.
Resident Evil, they try to be so fucking serious in those games nowadays that it's so over the top and ridiculous. Granted, the story was ridiculous to begin with, but it has escalated to a point where it is absolutely fucking stupid. And it was laughable to a point, but now it's like the joke's over. It's not even funny anymore.
I finally came up with one.
Matt?
I'm gonna go with some of the parts of the God of War trilogy where they try to spin Kratos as like some entity who actually has emotions and cares, and when you see like the rest of the storyline developing, and all of a sudden it kind of brings in this little part where
Hey, I like that trailer where he's crying.
it's just like it just doesn't fit, and it's one of those characters you can't see him turn on that emotion because again, that's what would make me kind of laugh.
Okay.
So I'm definitely gonna go with that.
I'm trying so hard. I'm just like it's like games like that take me out of the experience so much, and they're so forgettable for me. And it's just so hard to come up with them sometimes.
Yeah, you kind of generally try to blank out those situations and scenarios a little bit, to justify continuing playing the game.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah. If I can think of anything.
Metro Android.
So good, sir.
Hello.
He said, "What HD collection do you feel that needs to be made?"
Oh, this is a good one. I've seen quite a bit come up lately, which I've loved because I know there was that big silence on Ratchet and Clank, and that came out and fulfilled all of my
Desires.
wildest dreams. But the one, yeah, exactly. But after that, weren't we talking about Legacy of Kain the other week? That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
That one would be badass.
I actually wouldn't mind. It'd be hard because you'd have to go all the way back to the PS1, so they probably need complete redesigns. But I would love to see the Dino Crisis trilogy brought upscaled / whatever, or same thing from the PS1, the original 4 Tomb Raiders. I would love to see those because they're hard to stomach nowadays. I don't know if anybody's popped those games from 95, 96. They did not age well, and those were some great games. I would like to see those brought up into modern day graphics.
I'd like to see Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Like put together on one disc. I mean, I know Nintendo did it a little while ago. They kind of fancied them up a little bit. But make a full story out of them, especially with 2 and 3 since they kind of intersect. Would be nice to see them put together so you get the complete story at once. As bad as it is, I'd actually like to see the original 3 Zeldas. Even with just like an HD, gloss on them. They'd obviously have to redo 1 and 2, but I would definitely want to see those.
If I was to do Zelda, I would do it more in the middle. I would leave the first few alone. I would hop up. I know they started messing with Ocarina a bit, but I do, Ocarina, Majora's Mask, and
together.
Twilight Princess, as opposed to going back to the 2D side scrollers, because those always are timeless. And
Sure, but I've seen a couple of we're seeing more of them now, like with DuckTales and stuff, where if they put the time and the investment into it, they can make it good.
I actually found one. I really want Conquer and nicer HD-ish.
I actually wouldn't mind the Spyro trilogy as well. Those are really cool, but I keep going back to PS1, which is not going to happen because they've been doing the PS2 and Xbox. Halo 2.
That will probably actually happen.
You made me think of I'd love to see two of my favorite N64 games were WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy, and I'd love to see them put those two back out again because those were phenomenal. Even if you weren't a wrestling fan, you probably played them at some point with a buddy or something. Yeah, those were awesome games. Just like make whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, I had my creative
there's a lot
creative wrestler in that.
There's a lot of great games that I would go back and love to have. A majority of them, I gotta admit, will come from the 64 PS1 to original Xbox PS2. Because stuff to me, pre-64, doesn't need it. The stuff to me looks fine. It was just developed in a way that looks more classic and has the stability. Unfortunately, the 64, PS1, PS2, original Xbox, GameCube, all came at this part where they were transitioning into 3D like gaming environments, but they still looked like shit. People don't want to admit it. They look like absolute garbage held up to today's gaming. That's your bread and butter, if you ask me. That's where you want to go back and recreate those experiences in an up-resed situation.
Yeah, so. Very cool. Very cool. Nick Kuntz
said,
"What makes you mad with how people treat their systems?"
Making it
especially since we all have worked
at
video game
GameStop,
retail. Yeah,
where people bring in systems.
I've got a killer story, but I'll let you guys go ahead and take the field.
I
first.
do not understand how people buy $150 to $200 handhelds and can't fester up $3 for a fucking screen protector. I get so many goddamn DSs, PSPs, and Vitas in that are just scratched to shit. It's like, you invested all this money, spend $3 to protect your investment.
Or the fucking stickers.
Especially the DS with that pen. Yeah. It just rapes that screen if you had no protection on it.
Said a bad word.
Don't worry.
Hit gone.
Poof! No.
Podcast gone. Lost podcast.
That's the number one thing for me, is definitely that. And I can go into disc care as well, but that's a whole different thing. But for me, the biggest thing is handheld screen protection.
Lately, my store hasn't gotten too many scratch ones in. I think newer DSs have a little bit better screens on them, like glass-wise. But mine is by far dirty stuff. Like you're saying, like a $300 console that looks like you had Chinese food on it.
Yeah.
And like you were eating
spilled
your pasta.
Orange pop in the corner and shit.
I don't. Yes, I understand it's under, like, on your TV shelf. That doesn't, like, even if that is the thing, like, that does not mean you should be spilling it and crap. People wonder why the system doesn't work when I can't even see the fans because there's so much dust from wherever the fuck you had it.
And it's always that, like, light brownish red after it builds up for so long.
Yeah,
and stop feeding your goddamn controllers to your dogs. How many goddamn controllers do you get in with tooth marks? Especially
not very many, surprisingly.
Really, on the on the Wii nunchuck, half. I want to say half are chewed off.
That's funny.
And the 360 and PS3 is just as bad. Where people are like, "What are you? Why are you nibbling on a controller? It's a $50 piece of tech."
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I once had an original Xbox traded in at my store, and. This is before we had the fancy boxes and everything. So we used to just stock them in the back. As I'm carrying the system into the back and I set it down on the back counter that we had in the back room, a roach crawls out of it.
Oh.
So I pick up the system, tilt the fans downward, and give it a couple shakes. And probably upwards of 50 to 100 live, dead, and pieces of roaches fell out of the system. And it happened to me again in my final year at GameStop. Somebody brought in a white 360 that had turned brown with how filthy it was. Okay, my biggest peeve is, besides the fan, when you have something like the power brick and you have lines of dust in the grooves of the power brick, and then that thing, bugs were falling out of it too, and it was just like, what? How can you spend this type of money on a piece of electronics and then not have general hygiene and sanitary maintenance for it? You know, it's just absolutely...
Mine gets dusted probably every other week.
Yeah, mine's probably... I
don't do it that much.
I have...
Yeah, once I see a layer, I just dust it.
Unfortunately, I have the glossy. So it doesn't matter how often I dust it.
Too.
You know,
the glossy one also is scratch.
Oh yeah, it's fucked.
I don't know, attraction or something. Like I've done nothing to that machine that would constitute even a single scratch, and hundreds. Not like little nicks, like you have to look for them.
Yeah.
But no apparent reason. Like mine, it sits there. It's been moved downstairs once, put in a bag once with a towel around it, and I got scratches on it. It makes no. It's just a glossy
piece of shit.
Yeah, whatever.
Pizza shit.
All right, so going back to Gabe's original question, anybody come up with anything? I know you said Paddock.
Paddock.
I said Dom from Gears 2. I would have liked to have seen him off then.
I'm going back through like every fucking video game I've ever played, and I'm really struggling with this one.
And nobody from Uncharted? That you wanted to see off?
No.
Well, I've said it.
Nobody from Mass Effect?
Well, yeah, that's what I was to say. I've said it before. He's my most hated character in Star Wars: Knights of the Republic and Mass Effect, and that would be Karth from Star Wars and Kaden from Mass Effect because they're the exact same voice actor. I don't know why. They always have him play this. He's a good voice actor. Plays the role that I just absolutely hate.
Raiden should have died in Metal Gear Solid 2.
I'm thinking I'm on the right path. I'm just having trouble picking out a game. There's got to be something that has happened because I've done many of these. I can't think what they're called right now. The babysitting missions. And there had to have been one that I played that I just absolutely fucking hated the AI beyond belief, that I just wish it wasn't part of the game and they would have died.
Yeah.
Or just died and alleviated me from the stress. But I'm having problems pinpointing one.
And I'm dead serious. Like, all right, I understand Navi was absolutely fucking annoying.
But listen.
But I cannot stand Tingle. I hate that guy so much. Ugh!
I just want to punch him in the face.
I do.
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Yeah, that's my pick. Fuck that guy.
All right, and as always, you can send us questions on our email, which is forwardcompatiblepodcast@gmail.com. You can download our entire back catalog and current episodes on MediaFire. You can license us.
You can license us. Gives us money.
Like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/forwardcompatiblepodcast. You can follow us on Twitter at FCCompatible because you can't fit the whole fucking name in that one. And the newest one, you can subscribe, rate, and comment. iTunes and Stitcher, and of course, as always, we are on YouTube, and you can do the same.
Can I add one more into the Gmail?
Never.
This one just popped in a couple hours ago, and I know I responded to it on the Facebook page, but we might as well address it on the show.
Did I miss one?
No, it wasn't even a question, more or less, or it kind of was. It was from Metro, and he was wondering, or more of a suggestion, I suppose, of what I've been talking about, what I wanted to do forever with this. He wants us to put out a video format of the show every week, and I kind of let him know that
it was already in the works.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. We're looking into lapel microphones, those little things you see on the guys on the news that clip onto their collars, and we're just kind of looking into it and pricing it out and figuring out when it'd be feasible. And we're on the same page. We actually want to do that as well. So
yeah.
We're talking about cameras as well, like what kind. We have like a nice little webcam thing that does 1080p, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So.
We got as always, the iTunes Stitcher thing was just step one in our plan for world domination.
Yes.
So, we'll eventually be broadcasting from a submarine hidden under the Antarctic.
Don't tell
It's not there.
It doesn't matter.
I tried to parallel park it, but I couldn't.
All right.
What do you think I was doing today?
That brings us to our tournament.
Nice.
which I don't think will be very long.
Okay.
This time around. I'm going to start it off with the hero bracket. Mm-hmm. We've got Kratos from God of War going as Stranger.
I could kick this one off. I'm the biggest advocate of Stranger.
I voted for him every single time.
Yeah, I love him. I was the one that's just going the tournament, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
We
were like, Abe can't do shit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Kratos would beat the ever-living piss out of him.
Yeah.
This would not even be... this would be brutal.
Big kudos to Stranger.
Yeah, I can't believe he made it this far. He got to the Final Four, right?
But I have to agree. I don't really think, unfortunately, there's any real debate here. Even with all his different bug weapons and shit like that, it would probably be more of an annoyance than anything to Kratos.
Yeah.
Which means, and I can say this, fuck you, GameStop, okay, because they stole our thing. Our finals for the hero bracket is Spartan versus Spartan. It's Master Chief from Halo going against Kratos from God of War, which will be next week. Mm-hmm. And GameStop put up a picture like a week ago, like, who would win, Spartan versus Spartan? We're like, fuck you!
They're bastards. Yeah. Everybody's ripping off our ideas, man.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that's going to be the finals for the hero bracket. Whoa, that made an awesome noise. I'll do it again. Leads us to our villain bracket.
Tony bracket.
We've got the Lich King from
Lich King
World of Warcraft versus Darth Malik.
Malik! Da 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 da.
You fucked it up. It's not that many dots.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We'll let it slide, Mark.
Unfortunately, our World of Warcraft expert is not in-house today. He's
I played for 5 years.
He's in the French Alps. Angry Andy.
Skiing.
He's kicking some Sherpas off some mountains.
Boo!
Yeah. All right. Well, this one is tailored to you. Without being biased, give us a rundown of Tale of the Tape, Lich King versus Darth Malik.
All right, since I do know both.
Because you got to sell us.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Darth Malik, not as much with
Evil Dead.
But Evil Dead.
Well, we got Lich King. He's kind of like...
Why wasn't Ash in this? I said, why wasn't Ash in the tournament? Anyways.
We had basically the final boss of the third expansion pack. Second expansion pack.
Way to piss off half our audience.
Yeah. I played for 5 years, not my fault. Anyway, he's kind of a bitch in a way because he's got...
That's not being unbiased.
No.
Bitch.
No, I meant a bitch as in to fight.
Okay.
Because like you have to do 25, I think it's a 25-man raid. And he's got a bunch of like stages in his fight where it's like a attack where he'll like just concentrate on the tank for a little bit, and then he has got like some weird AoE attack that he does every once in a while. I've only fought him a few times, but for the most part, I think I've died every time.
Yeah.
He is supposed to be like this. I guess like the king of the Northrend. No. What is it? He's supposed to be he thinks he's like the true leader of all of
Azeroth.
but he reigns up in Northrend, I think is what it is. So he's just kind of like...
There's one interesting aspect about the Lich King that I know, and that is that you cannot kill the Lich King.
True.
There always has to be a Lich King.
Yeah, someone takes over.
Yeah. So he's always there.
Yeah, but it's still a different, like... person, I suppose.
You can't kill the Lich King.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, I was hoping he wouldn't mention that.
No, I didn't remember.
Yes! That. Okay, Malik.
6,000 years before the Star Wars, you all know. He
and
was...
Hate? No.
And possibly hate. And
fucking Star Wars fans.
He was basically...
Threw him off track for a second. You see that? I finally did it to him.
He was... No, I'm still here, so I'm still good.
I got this.
He got this. He was basically like the Vader without the emotional side.
Not true.
Not to take a hit at the finals or something, but
not gonna happen.
Literally, he was a Jedi, and he was trained by. It's not Yoda. Imagine Yoda, but not Yoda. And
so, like the bitch version of Yoda.
You never really see if he's kind of a badass or not. So
if they don't show him, he's not a badass.
Yeah, but basically, he was trained by the 4 leaders of the Jedi Enclave. And eventually he was sent on a mission. It's kind of like a trial, of age mission, and
Like what all Padawans have to go on?
He found this map of the it's called the Star Forge, and basically it showed him a map of the universe that they didn't know really existed, and it also gave a look that there's these units. I'm forgetting the name of what they're called. Basically, an ancient enemy for the most part.
So did Mass Effect rip off Star Wars, or did Star Wars rip off Mass Effect?
You never know.
And then there's the Flood.
Yeah, and then there's the Flood. So basically, he takes his it would be his Padawan, Revan, along with him to find this, and they do find the lost
City of Atlantis.
Lost City of Atlantis. They find it, and they bring back this entire fleet of basically it outnumbered the Republic 10-1 right off the bat. So literally, he came back and ruled the entire galaxy, and he hunts down the last of the remaining Jedi for a living, basically.
Well, clearly he didn't do a good enough job, because they survived.
It's hard to get around the entire universe. Jesus Christ.
It's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah. In terms of, battle strength, he's an absolute expert with a lightsaber. He's got Force Choke. He's got Freeze.
He had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I know.
Just to try to appeal to you.
No,
I'm worried about it.
He has Freeze. He has a stun attack. He has a heal. He has
Where his base powers
Force. Those are all of his.
Okay.
Yeah. Those are things he's trained in, and you never see him without them. So, I'm sure he didn't know that when he was born, but
Well, the Lich King knew all that when he was born.
I'm pretty sure Lich King's a bitch.
We ready to take it to a vote?
I believe so.
Take it to the head.
I am going to set up my wet dream of a final and vote for Malik.
I'm going Lich King.
Malik.
Okay. So you know Malik's not winning.
Fine.
Just so you know, as much as I can't stand that bitch Darth Vader, Malik's not winning.
Here's the thing.
Because it should have been Ganon and Vader in the finals.
I promise to everyone, I have a few tricks up my sleeve. I know Mark thinks that Malik has this in the bag.
I just said he does.
Does he have
Fuck
Freeze?
that guy.
But I'm telling you.
It's like Sub-Zero.
I'm telling you. I'm not going to go into it today, but for next week, I got some sneaky stuff.
Quick recap. Okay, so we've got Spartan versus Spartan in the
I'm gonna have
Hero
spec
finals.
sheets. I'm gonna have an entire spec sheet.
I already got it.
We've got in the hero
done.
bracket. We've got Spartan versus Spartan with Master Chief versus Kratos. We've got
Malik.
Sith versus Sith.
What?
Vader
isn't Sith.
Vader's a Sith.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not a true Sith. Do you know what a Sith is?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He is
Fuck
not true
those
Sith.
Star Wars fans.
He is
Matters
not
not.
true Sith. He's a
And
human.
the one that
Malik was born as a Sith.
the true final battle here.
race.
The true final battle here is going to be Clank
Hell yeah.
versus HK-47.
That's awesome.
That the sidekick bracket.
That's going to be a battle
There were
royale
some
for the
comments
ages.
on that a
There
few weeks
was
ago.
there was
too.
quite a
We have
bit
to
of
pull back
comments.
up.
Please comment some more on the sidekick bracket. We want you guys to
So
decide.
the tournament's
this one.
wrapping up next
Yes.
week then, huh?
Thank God that I'm done with this fucking thing. Horrible.
It's gonna be lengthy next week.
Looks like KOTOR is gonna get a nice clean partial sweep.
No.
I know, it's like shit. I don't. He's not gonna. Yeah, you can't be here next week.
You can't be here then. This is my house.
All right. I guess is that well
it.
said?
That's
Okay. Yeah. So please send in some comments on what you guys think about the finals. Aside from that, we can hop into
Dun 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 dun. Evil
Tony's
Dead.
topic of the week. Dun, dun, dun. Tony's topic of the week.
I like how I threw Evil Dead in there.
That's good. I like it. Okay. So this week, it's a bit of a shorter one because we do have some WrestleMania business to
What
attend
is
to
this that I keep hearing about?
shortly. So this week, EA
Fuck those guys. End of show. Goodbye.
was there. There's a bracket. We reported on this last year because EA won. And
The Poop Award.
Yeah, they were voted the worst company in America.
Golden poop.
And this year,
Called that?
Yep.
this year it's still going on, but they made it to the semifinals.
Woo.
And they're probably going to win, or lose, however you look at it.
Well, it's got to be one or the other, doesn't it?
That's what we said last year. Is it winning or losing?
So, the poll's going on right now, and the guy Peter Moore from EA, I don't know what his official
that cocksucker
title
who supposedly had the Halo tattoo on his arm. That's Peter Moore, yeah. That's the guy who used to work for fucking Microsoft.
Unaware of that.
And then he pulled up his other sleeve and it had like Madden.
He came out and he caused quite a bit of controversy this week with some of his comments. If I could take a second and first read off his quote.
No!
We don't quote here.
We don't quote here?
Go ahead.
I'm going to fucking do it anyway. Okay, so he goes, "Are we really the worst company in America? I'll be the first to admit that we've made plenty of mistakes. These include server shutdowns too early, games that didn't meet expectations, missteps on new pricing models, and most recently, severely fumbling the launch of SimCity. We owe gamers better performance than this." Okay, that's the first part of his thing.
That sounds pretty fucking heartfelt.
Yeah. Then he goes on and he says, some of these complaints are 100% legitimate against EA, but others just don't hold water. So he's got a couple more quotes, and then I'm going to start.
Like a bag with a hole in it.
We'll start dissecting this. Okay, so then he goes, "Many continue to claim that always-on function in SimCity is a DRM scheme. It's not. People still want to argue about it. We can't be any clearer. It's not, period." That's going to be the first one we're going to go into, but let me finish up. All right, then he goes,
finish you off.
Yeah. He goes, "Some claim
Gotta leave.
that there's no room for Origin as a competitor to Steam. 45 million registered users are proving that wrong." And he's got, "Some people think that free-to-play games and microtransactions..."
I got stuff to say about that.
I got stuff to say about all these. "Some people think that free-to-play games and microtransactions are a pox on gaming. Tens of millions more are playing and loving these games. We've seen mailing lists that direct people to vote for EA because they disagree with the choice of cover athletes on Madden NFL." And then he goes, "In the past year, we've received thousands of emails and postcards protesting against EA for allowing players to create LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender characters in our games. This week, we're seeing posts on conservative websites urging people to protest our LGBT policy by voting EA the worst company in America. That one is particularly telling. If that's what makes us the worst company, bring it on, because we're not caving on that." He's got some other stuff that's I don't have to really get into, but basically he concluded it all off by saying the tallest trees catch the most wind. Basically meaning that they think they're the big dog and they're going to get the most publicity, negative publicity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's...
So let's hop into some initial thoughts, and then we'll go into each comment that he made, and we'll kind of break that shit down.
My first impressions of this is I don't think they're the worst. I know they got some... I know some ex-EA employees, and I know a lot of them didn't like the way they were treated, but I don't know any current ones right now. So
For me, realistically... If you were to ask me this question 10 years ago, if I thought EA was the worst company, I mean, not in America, but in video games, I would have agreed. They have changed and they have made a lot of strides just on their workforce end to accommodate their employees better. So I don't agree with them being the worst. That would have to go to NCSoft.
As for worst company...
What?
As for the worst company in the entirety of the United States, I'm assuming this is more based off the public's viewing. So we, obviously us, along with a majority of the public, don't have an idea of the inner workings of EA, how it truly runs. This is based off products that the consumer later is upset about. Mm-hmm. And with that, I feel that the public has a decent argument. EA is one of the largest culprits, if not the largest culprit, of all the stuff that I hate the most in the video gaming world, with Always On, DRM, online passes. They were the ones that brought that to the table. Day One DLC. They're the ones that brought all this shit to the world.
Do we have any other examples of any of the other contenders
Like
for this title?
I do not, but I don't. I'm
Because
assuming.
where the fuck is BP on this list? I mean, if we're talking about
well, that's
American
aren't
company,
they British?
Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, it's British Petroleum.
Okay,
No,
well,
it's beyond petroleum.
but either way, like, I mean, where's the people that have been fucking
Maybe
shit
not.
up like that? You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at.
Like I was saying though, you gotta keep in mind people, especially on the internet, are very short sighted.
Yeah,
you know what
I
mean?
understand.
It's gang mentality. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, fuck EA. You know what I mean? People
I'm
really take
sure
that stuff.
Apple's somewhere on that list just because 50% of the country uses Android.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got to be on there somewhere then too.
Yeah.
Is right now it's EA versus Ticketmaster. I'm low on the page right
Why
now.
is Ticketmaster?
Because they rape people.
Oh yeah, they're bad.
Yeah.
I hate Ticketmaster
Oh my God,
more than
dude.
EA.
Yeah, like you buy a $35 concert ticket and it's $60
bucks.
by the time you're done.
Yeah.
There's lawsuits on them. They had to
Yeah,
pay
they
out
got
money.
yeah.
They had to pay out like $10 million on that shit.
I was unaware of that.
It was like $2 per ticket that you bought.
Fucking A, man. I was unaware of that shit. Did you look up?
Ticketmaster had a relatively easy path to the semis. They beat out Equifax and Sally Mae.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going down. I'm trying to find out where the fucking.
Where's
bracket
fucking
is.
GameStop on that list?
They're one of the worst companies to work for, not the worst company to buy stuff from, I don't think.
But see, again, if we're going based on perception of internet, that's our basis here.
Oh, GameStop's a favorite.
People exactly.
to
People
bash on.
bash the fuck out of them just based on trade-in prices alone.
Bank of America beat out Walmart in the quarterfinals. Ticketmaster beat out Carnival. Comcast beat out Time Warner.
Comcast is gonna be hard to dethrone.
EA kicked the shit 84 to 16% over AT&T. And then round 2 was Walmart versus Sears. Walmart won. Bank of America versus Chase. Bank of America very much won. Sally Mae versus Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster won. AT&T and Apple actually. AT&T barely won. EA 80% versus Facebook. They got 80 to 20.
How is Facebook like one of
I
the
don't
worst
know.
companies?
It's like free.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
where the fuck is that coming
I don't
from?
know. FedEx versus Time Warner. Time Warner destroyed them 85 to 15.
Like, who's gonna say they don't like Facebook?
Yeah, I know,
Like,
right?
everyone has a fucking Facebook.
Best Buy was on here. There's a shit ton of stuff. EA versus Anheuser-Busch. 92% went to EA.
Well, no shit.
Of course. Who's mad at a beer maker?
I don't know. All right, so right now it's EA versus Ticketmaster and Bank of America versus Comcast
It's probably gonna be
in the
Comcast versus
semis.
EA.
Yeah. What was it? Did you want to know anything more about the bracket?
it's good, it's
Yeah.
good. It just seems like some of their pairings were very lopsided.
Oh, yeah.
They were pushing for EA to advance up that bracket very quickly.
All right, so let's start at the top, going back to this. So the first thing he says, are we really the worst company in America? And then he goes on to say, I'll be the first to admit that we've made plenty of mistakes. These include the server shutdowns, games that didn't meet expectations, missteps on new pricing models, and most recently severely fumbling the launch of SimCity. So at least I feel they're acknowledging the fact that a majority of their fan base is upset. To me personally, I think that they're not really getting the message because of how many games they sell. And I've said this on the show before too. If you really want a company to hear you, you have to speak with your wallet by not purchasing it. It's the same reason Xbox is they think they're going to find great success in Connect 2. They look at it, they're like, we sold 75 million Xboxes, we sold 30, 40 million Connects. People love it because we sold 30 or 40 million of it. We'll do this again, we'll sell another 30 or 40 million Connect 2s. They don't get that a majority of these turn into laughing stocks in the gaming community and basically electronic paperweights. But they don't look at it that way. They look at the bottom line, the bottom dollar, and that's how EA is. They don't get that people are upset about online passes or so on and so forth because they're just looking at how much money they made. So you have to speak with your wallet. You have to not buy it for them to get the message because then one year they'll be like, we made 20 million. The next year we made 15 million. We did something wrong. That's where they'll hear you.
Yeah.
They'll look back and be like, oh, maybe we should take out online passes. You can't just bitch about it on a forum and then go buy the game anyway because they don't care. They're not reading the forum. They're reading their financial reports. So,
I agree.
yeah. Oh, I thought people were...
No, I mean that's
No,
exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
you're pretty spot on that.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say maybe a very, very small percentage internally in EA will listen to actual feedback. There's somebody there that scours the forums and sees Facebook and all these different shit, and keeps up with it for the most part. But overall, I would agree as a company that would be their outlook.
Yeah. Okay. So then he admits that he goes, some of these complaints are 100% legit, but others, quote, just don't hold water. So let's start busting those down one at a time.
Bust you down.
Yeah. First of which, many continue to claim that always-on function in SimCity is a DRM scheme. It's not. People want to argue about it. We can't be any clearer. It's not.
One of the few things about SimCity being always on is that you never have to worry about losing your stuff. Like, you can uninstall the game, go to a different computer, you log in with your Origin account, you have your world that you created last year on it. I love that the first game that started DRM on was Silent Hunter 5. I'll pop that game in every 2-3 years, and it still has my save files from that. It's a way of backing up your save files so you don't lose them. And with PCs, I mean, I go through, I reformat like once a year. So why would I lose all that progress? Like, it's helpful in that way, and I never have really a problem where I lose internet connection. So I know some people might, but it's just one of those things that is a really good benefit to me.
We got to keep in mind we live in a huge metropolitan area that has steady, extremely fast internet comparatively.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the middle of Nebraska or whatever might not have our luxuries.
I think, though, with something like that, where they're saying this is the infrastructure that we're building for this game, they didn't hide it. It was out on Front Street. This game is going to be more along the lines of a massively multiplayer game in the sense of regions into the world and everything like that. That's their ability if that's the route that they want to go. I understand that you can mod the game and hack it to do what you want, but that can be said for any game or any program as it stands, online or not. If I wanted to play City of Heroes right now, I can.
I can do that for you today.
So,
I can do that for you today.
Yeah. So technically, I can do that. But that's not the way that the developer intended. If they want to build a game and they want to say, we're taking the new SimCity online, that's how it goes. You don't play World of Warcraft offline. So I think in that regard, yes, you pissed off some people by having it online always, always online. But with the direction that they were wanting to take the franchise, they took a risk. They had some problems, but I haven't played it yet. It's something that I'm looking forward to.
It is the best thing they did with SimCities this entire
I think that's
franchise.
With SimCity, and I go way back with it. That's always what I wanted, was like a multiplayer aspect to it.
You do, and literally, it's done fantastically.
But to have a multiplayer aspect added to it, does it necessarily require you to constantly be connected online?
If that's their choice.
Okay.
That's for me, and I know and I don't want to get too off topic. I know people are talking about the new Xbox being online always and everything. But with a game, if that's what you want to do, it's your game, it's your property to do so with. If you want to develop the game to function in this larger world, then that's up to you, as opposed to hardware. That's a difference for me.
I get that it combats piracy. That's the main thing that they won't admit is why they're doing this. But I still feel it's very anti-consumer. I personally don't care. I'm very much in Mark's boat where my Xbox is already...
You have 3 minutes to connect. It only checks every 3 minutes. Yeah. So if you actually just lose it for like a minute or two, you can actually go reset your router, and you won't get kicked or anything like that.
Yeah. I understand it. Like I was saying, we live in a decently populated area. We're in Chicago. We have steady stream of internet. In the last year, it's probably gone out twice for a couple hours. It's not a big deal. I'm always online anyway. My Xbox and PS3 haven't been offline in years. They don't know any better. So it's something I wouldn't truly think about, but I understand a lot of the complaints that are coming from it. I get it. You want to go visit Grandma and Grandpa who don't have internet because they have no need for it because they've gone 80 years without it. And you want to bring your Xbox along for the long weekend at Grandma and Grandpa's. And now it basically turned into a paperweight. Or with SimCity. I get it. You can't... There's stuff like that. Where internet does go out. It does happen. Power lines get knocked over. Shit like that happens. Server updates. All that stuff. And then your item basically becomes worthless. So I do understand the argument.
Yeah.
Me personally, it doesn't affect me. but I still think it's wrong that they force you.
I think a
to
lot
do
of
it one way or
people
another.
don't understand the full aspect of it, because I've had people come in at GameStop and be like, "Oh, it's gonna be always online," and then I ask them, "Oh, you have bad internet connection?" I'm like, and then they're of course like, "No, I don't have bad internet connection." I'm like, then why are you upset about it? Like, I mean, you brought up a great point where could be a problem if you're going on weekends or something like that, but for the most part, like, it shouldn't be as aggravating to people as you would think. I think just because you're like always online almost anywhere you go. Like, you have that maybe 1% of the time where something might go wrong, where it will be very aggravating. Like, if I, for some reason, want to play something and Comcast upgrading my servers for like 3 hours, that's going to be like crap, yeah. I agree that it could run into some problems with that, and I think they should have some kind of workaround for that, because then you do have people who just don't have the internet.
There are still a lot of people that don't. And to me, that's weird that you're alienating all of them just to combat a little piracy. That's going to happen regardless, because SimCity got hacked 2 days after it launched.
Well, like, consoles, like, piracy isn't that huge of a deal, because, like, they've already banned all those consoles. They're still pirating because there's nothing you can do, but...
Yeah, but then those people just elect to play those games offline.
Yeah, well, no, once you ban your console, you can be online and be burning disc. It's a banned account, so...
No, I'm just saying, like, say you're running simultaneous Xboxes, one that is banned and hacked, and it could play copies of discs off the internet, and one that's legitimate for when you want to play multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
you're
no,
only
I
legitimately buying one $60 game a year in Call of Duty to play against
Yeah.
people, and all of the other games like Batman and all that stuff you're
Yeah.
stealing because you don't really care, because you don't need to be connected online for that. And that, I understand, it screws over a lot of publishers. And
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure they
loses a lot of money, but still, to make something, I don't like it. I'm against always online. I get it, and it's not a huge problem, but
I just think that they
it's
should
too
have better
anti-consumer.
Security protocols for that, and then you wouldn't have to worry about the always online if you were just better with your security systems.
There's better ways to do it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with everything we're going to
Like,
get into.
What is the matter with CD keys?
Mm-hmm.
Have a CD key for everything. Like, but then you have the use game thing, which you run into that, so it's complicated.
To me, it's with everything. There's always, all the major complaints I have with the video game industry, there's always a better way to do it. They're just not doing it with always online passes, day one DLC, pre-order bonuses that are the same game. You're getting screwed out of stuff because you elected to get it from Best Buy versus GameStop versus Amazon. There's better ways to sort all these problems out than the way that the industry is actually handling it. But that's a conversation for another day, I think. Is everybody cool on the always on DR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So his next thing was some claim that there's no room for Origin as a competitor to Steam. 45 million registered users are proving that wrong. Can I start this one off, gentlemen?
Oh, god damn.
No.
Okay, yes.
Okay. This is typical corporate bullshit, okay? He's failing to realize Steam is an open property that allows everything onto it if they elect to do so. Origin requires you to set up an Origin account to play any of EA's games. And as much as people don't want to admit it, EA makes a lot of quality games. So if you want to partake in any of them, you have to set up an Origin account. It doesn't mean they're super active, and it doesn't mean they're choosing you over Steam. All it means is you forced 45 million people to register to play your product. People didn't electively go on to set up Origin just out of the blue. You're making them. So to me, that number is fucking complete bullshit.
That is exactly what I was going to say. Literally, I think for Battlefield 3 was the first time, because I got it for like $10. Only reason I ever installed Origin, if I didn't buy Battlefield for so cheap, I wouldn't have actually installed Origin until like a month ago when SimCity came out. There's no point. Everything on there, I would probably rather play on a console at this point, because that's just how they've gone. And you're forced into it, like you said. There's nothing that is exclusive about them. There's nothing that's better about them than Steam. Steam is a optional service that way more than that have chosen to prove because of, I don't know, just nice catalog of... They took everything Steam did and then made their own thing with their own catalog, and it's crap because there's only a game that comes out every month or two. Like, they had like one thing to their catalog every month or so.
Yeah. If you want to play EA games, you need an Origin account. And if you have a Steam account, you can't play EA games without an Origin account anymore. They pulled everything.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Some of the older ones I think are still on there.
Well, basically, my summary for this is if EA would have never pulled everything from Steam, if they would have allowed you the choice to play EA games between Steam or Origin, nobody was signed up for an Origin account.
No.
Everybody would have stuck with Steam. That 45 million might have been 2 or 3 million.
Yeah.
No, don't care.
No, I mean, I agree with you guys, but also too, part of it is, again, with that aspect, it's their property to if they want to make their own network for it, it's understandable to an extent. The smart person knows that there's workarounds to play your shit off of Steam if you want anyways. I mean, yes, you have to have the Origin account, but you can still link it to Steam. You know, we all three of us know how to do that.
Yeah.
You can do that with anything.
Even I can do that.
Yeah.
Some games actually mess up with that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have my World of Tanks through Steam because that actually messes it up every time.
But, you know, again, if they want to build their own network, that's their prerogative to do so with, you know.
It is a little bit surprising that they have so many, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't really fault them for wanting to take a bite out of Steam.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was in that position, I might want to do that, you know.
Doesn't cost much to run that server.
Exactly. So, I mean, again, I can't necessarily give them negative points for wanting to have their own thing.
I don't know
can
how
give
much
them
they
negative
would lose
points
from Steam stuff, though.
From saying that they're not putting it on Steam. Maybe give people the option. You know, I understand what you were saying, where maybe it's not right to force them, but give them the option. If you want to do your own network, you want to take a chunk out of that. I kind of get that, though, from a business perspective.
No, that's the other thing. With all of these, I'm unfortunately of two minds because I see both sides very clearly. The capitalist in me,
you fucking Republican.
The business sense in me is totally on EA's side. It's exactly what Jason's saying.
You're taking out the middleman.
If you want to play our games, we're providing you with a service, so you have to come and oblige to what we want to do. EA is big enough and powerful enough to pull all this off, and if they want, it's like Jason said, it's their prerogative. They're allowed to do what they want. It's their entity. It's their property. I get it from the other side. It's super anti-consumerist, and you're going against the people that you're selling this to just because you're so big and powerful, and you're just like flexing your arms like, what are you going to do about it? We're going to do it this way.
Yeah, but that's America.
America.
That's what America does. They said, you got to use our shit.
I will...
look at fucking Apple. Okay, I can't run jelly beans on my...
You can't have no ice cream sandwiches on your apples.
Unless I'm making a background picture, you know? Yeah.
I did have one thing to add to that, as well as when I go to my Origin account, I do have about 30 or so friends on there. And I think... Well, no, it'll make sense in a second. Popular. But, like, I'll have about 3 online at any given time. I can go on Steam, which I probably have about 70 with, and I can have about 20 on minimal. So I think that shows you how much people actually stay on it. And this will be at like 2 in the morning when people they just leave it on.
No, 2 a.m.
Origin, from what I can tell,
I'm up at all hours of the night.
Yeah,
but I can't go to a movie.
Yeah, you know. But you know, so that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes, like people are just leaving Steam on, but when people are going to Origin, they're going to it to play a game, and they close it right.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I don't know how many people. I mean, I don't even use my Steam, but I know people just like log into it and sit on it.
No, that's what I mean. Like people
same thing with like
sit
they
there.
do that shit with Facebook. It's like if you're not really there, why is your shit on?
I'm guilty of that all the time. My Xbox,
because you're drunk, or
my Xbox is always on, and I'm playing on my tablet or dicking around on my Vita. My Xbox is just on.
It's got Pornhub pulled up on the big TV.
Yep,
X-Hamster.
It's true. Yep. We cool on Origin?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Actually, I'm not cool on Origin.
Some people think that free-to-play games and microtransactions are a pox on gaming.
Hey, shut up. I like World of Tanks.
Tens of millions more are playing and loving these games.
I'm playing Injustice.
That is the way of the future, in my opinion, just because it ends up you get more money off of it. Like you just said, Injustice.
Subscriptions are dead. Subscriptions
are completely dead. Yeah. People are tired of them. World of Warcraft will be probably one of the last giants to go out with that.
And I know I'm beating this fucking horse to death. But when City of Heroes transitioned to free to play,
oh yeah,
that I spent more time and more money than I had in years on that, because it was hard to maintain a month-to-month subscription when I would play for 3 months and then take a break.
No, yeah,
but this I could pop in and be like, oh, hey, there's a cool item. I'm going to buy this stupid vanity pet just because I have to have everything for this fucking game. That's just... if done proper, free-to-play and microtransactions are not a bad thing. They take away that need for subscription.
Yeah, and I am one for that, because my biggest thing about World of Warcraft was why I kept in and out of it is because I wouldn't play enough in a month.
Exactly.
I cancel it.
You wouldn't
I come
justify,
back 2 months later.
Exactly. You couldn't justify having that renewable subscription.
That's why I did. I mean, I know you hate it, but Guild Wars 2 was such a... I mean, it played so
true.
good,
it is true.
but it was free, and I could come back when I felt like it.
Yeah.
World of Tanks is one of the biggest ones. Look, if you look at some of the biggest games right now on PC, most of them are free to play at this point. There's a new one up and coming out of, again, Russia. That's where World of Tanks is right around there. It's called War Thunder. It's the exact type of game with planes, and that thing's getting 10,000, 20,000 people on daily and at any hour of the day.
And now for the counterpoint.
Yeah, I'm totally against this in every way, shape, and form. I can't stand this. I get it when a game is built from the ground up to be a free-to-play game. Mm-hmm. That's different, okay? The problem I have is what EA is doing. This I'm totally one-sided on. What EA does is they take your product that you're purchasing for $60 and withholding content purposefully. They do this in Madden. They're starting to do this with all their sporting games, where you pay your $60.
What'd they do with Madden?
You pop in your game, then there's all that roster shit with those coins. That they're like, well, for $5 more, you can go buy Barry Sanders from back in the day. For $3,
the Ultimate Team crap. Yeah.
That's what microtransactions are.
Yeah.
Okay, it's different when you're offering a free product for $0 to the consumer. They download it, and then you allow them to pay $3 for this or $4 for this. I get that. The developer has to make money. It is a completely different story when you're charging $60 for a game that they bought in full and are withholding portions of the game and then causing people to throw in more money to get the full experience that they should have gotten for the $60. To me,
fucking Catwoman.
Well, that kind of stuff's like... That sounds really stupid to buy the cards, because I know exactly what you mean. Because they give you the option of doing it with in-game credits, or if you want, get it now for $3. It's stupid, but a lot of people feel that because I do it all the time when I buy a game, they release some kind of content. You almost feel like you should, if you play it, you feel like you should get it almost, because you're like, well, it'll make it easier. Jason almost dropped his iPad.
I've bought some of that shit before to jump ahead and things like that.
Yeah, I've done it like once or twice. I haven't done it lately because I got pretty good on not doing it. But if it's something that I'm like, you know what, that's going to really help out. World of Tanks, I bought premium because it makes, you get double XP off of everything. And I was like, I'm playing enough. I think they deserve it. But it is completely different when you go to a single card that you're going to play, games of football with. Like, that is a little bit ridiculous in that regard.
That's basically what I'm getting at. Is they're overdoing it at EA. When you got something like a Tribes Ascend, like what Mark actually introduced me to that game, that's a blast.
They have cards too,
and if you want to unlock some other guns or some special abilities, to me that's just a totally different animal. I don't know. Are we cool on the free to play?
Yeah.
Something, like, I just want to make that clear. If something's built from the ground up free to play, that's a different story. I just don't like when it's tacked on. So,
they can figure it out.
Okay, this one's a little touchy.
Touchy.
You're a little touchy.
Okay, in the past year, we've received thousands of emails and postcards protesting against EA for... Oh, shit, I skipped one. Excuse me. Rewind. We've seen mailing lists that direct people to vote for EA because they, as the worst company in America, because they disagree with the choice of cover athlete on Madden.
Madden's not even their biggest series.
This is another thing that I'm assuming one or two people did, and EA is making it sound like half of the votes came from people like this when it was a handful of people.
No, Madden is their, third place series now or fourth?
It's behind FIFA and Battlefield probably.
Yeah, NHL too.
NHL sells more than Madden?
This year did. So far right now.
Fucking A, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Hawks. And Anaheim out there too, when, teams do well. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, literally, it's like, how many Madden sales go down every single year? They've not had a an increase in a while. Like, they are actually getting smaller and smaller, and you're attributing your failings as a company due to a game that's failing.
Yeah,
it's getting better, but it's just not selling as much.
And blaming it on the choice of cover athlete. Like
Yeah,
that,
and the cover athlete.
That has never, ever affected whether or not I will purchase a game. I don't care.
Hey, Favre had the wrong jersey on. I just didn't get it.
I have heard of people doing that, though, in my experience from GameStop.
That's weird.
They're like, fuck Madden. Because this dude's on the cover. I'm like, dude, you're stupid. Shut up and buy the game. Throw the box away.
Well, I don't know. Does anybody have anything? This was kind of a smaller one. Does anybody have anything to
Nope.
add to that?
No,
Okay,
it's
then,
stupid.
now we'll hop into the one that's a little sensitive. In the past year, we've received thousands of emails and postcards protesting against EA for allowing players to create LGBT characters in our games. This week, we're seeing posts on conservative websites urging people to protest our LGBT policy by voting EA the worst company in America. The
Grow
last
up.
one in particular is particularly telling. If that's what makes us the worst company, bring it on, because we're not caving on that. I don't like how he throws in that he makes us all sound like we're lumped together, conservatives, that we're all against that. Like, I could give a shit less. I'm all about equal everything, and I'm conservative. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. That's what I
And
mean. I don't care. Do
I
what
think
you want.
what EA's done is great. I think more people should include, the LB stuff in their games.
Yeah.
What BioWare did was awesome.
It sounds like
with
it's coming
Mass
from
Effect.
people again who
2 or 3
probably
people,
aren't playing.
and they're lumping in a whole.
Yeah, and they're probably not even playing those games. They just know about them, and it's a fuss.
Yeah.
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 It's, I don't, and I'm not saying conservatives, but in general, I don't put it past people who don't agree with it to do something stupid like that.
Yeah. It's the same problem that's going on with the anti-violence in video games.
I mean, there's so many different comparisons. I could drag that out as a topic itself.
They're lumping that into conservatives as well, and I'm sure it is probably a bunch of 80-year-old conservative dudes who are starting half this crap, but I'm a younger, more reasonable person.
You're trying to say that you're hip and you're trendy?
Oh, I'm just saying the world changes.
I said hip and trendy.
Yeah.
Hip and trendy.
Oh, the world changes every year, and the new faces of the Conservative Party aren't going to be as nuts as some of the older members, I suppose. I don't know if that,
They gave Harley Quinn a tramp stamp.
Nice.
You can thank my friend for that, probably.
Tell him that it's slutty.
Yeah, he did most of the work on that after they fucked it up the first time they made it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that high quality.
Okay. Then he concluded that EA is committed to fixing our mistakes. Here's the truth. Each year, EA interacts with more than 350 million gamers. Origin's breaking records for revenue and users. The Simpsons tapped out, and Real Racing 3 are at the top of the mobile charts. Battlefield 3 and FIFA are stunning achievements with tens of millions of players, and SimCity is being enjoyed by millions of passionate fans all over the world. Every day, millions of people across the globe play and love our games. Literally hundreds of millions more than will vote in this contest. With that, I actually agree with everything you said. I get that there's a lot of people playing your game, and that's half the problem.
Yeah.
It goes back to my initial argument of you look at those numbers and you just assume that the vocal minority that are voting your company the worst in America, they're the minority. Mm-hmm. Whereas the majority of gamers sit there in silence, don't vote against you, and just go purchase your product. So you're going to go on without changing much in the way your business acts.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Spot on with that one again.
So here's my response to the poll. We could do better. We will do better. But I am damn proud of this company, the people around the globe who work at EA, the games we create, and the people that play them. The tallest trees catch the most wind.
I did like how he ended it.
It's clever. He's a very good publicist, or what have you.
That's pretty much what he does.
Yeah, that's his whole job, is to clean up crap like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I really had bullet point wise. If you guys wanted to tack on a little to the end, or else we could hop into some final thoughts. That's really all I had with this one.
I mean, for once, I'm pretty on par with you for the most part with everything, and I usually just try to, argue with you for the sake of having a different
A little
opinion.
devil's advocate.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I agree with you so far.
Yeah. Also, looking into it, I think NHL is possibly a little bit behind Madden currently.
Yeah,
I was fact-checking myself. But in the next few years, if
Nobody
it
cares.
actually keeps going, it will overtake it. NHL is getting record Week 1 sales, and Madden's
Your face.
But yeah, it's close.
That's Mark's final thoughts.
I like to fact-check myself sometimes, so I'm like, wait, is that true?
Just reminds me of Archer after he nailed that prostitute and he's eating the candy bar and she's like, you're an ass. And he's like, what? Sometimes I like to treat myself. For me, it's like I was saying initially, like I just, the only way you're going to get these companies to learn is to speak with your wallet.
I'd much rather Ticketmaster lose it.
Yeah.
I'm far more angry at Ticketmaster than any other company I know currently. And it's just because anytime I see a ticket off of their site, I'm like, well, $36, I'm expecting to pay $50.
Dude, email your friend. Why the fuck isn't Shazam in this game?
I don't know. DLC character. They just started working on him. I mean,
what?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I basically in summary, I guess everything that EA is doing is fine because as Jason pointed out, it's their entity. They're allowed to do whatever they want.
Except they ruined Dead Space.
If you want to run a better run video game company, start one up. Prove EA
Give me a job too.
Yeah,
and
fuckers,
and go ahead and make your own version of Dead Space and FIFA and
Give me
Madden and all those other games. And
hire Mark.
Hire Mark and run the company better than EA and drive them into the ground by outperforming them. If not, your only voice is to speak with your wallet. It honestly is. All the bitching and moaning and voting for these polls and complaining on forums at video game websites, it's not really amounting to anything.
Vote Ticketmaster. 2013.
Yeah.
It's a final thought. But yeah, no, EA, like, literally, I'm not too mad at them. Like, a few years ago when the online pass came in, it was kind of pissy, and I kind of got over it, I guess.
That's exactly what happens, is they stick this stuff in there, they cause an uproar for a few months.
I realized
and everybody
that
just kind of deals with it.
I buy new most of the time, and then when I actually, the last 2 EA games I actually bought were pre-owned, other than SimCity. But anyway, you just steal the online pass codes from GameStop. There you go.
Because there's
Shazam.
Yeah, on the shelves, there's 6
Shazam!
of them. One of them's going to work.
Evil Dead!
It's surprising that people don't use those online passcodes.
Because a lot of people aren't connected online, especially on Xbox. People don't pay for Xbox Live.
I know, it's weird. I'm just shocked.
Only half of the Xbox sold, less than half, have Xbox Live.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fuck those people.
Exactly.
What?
Was that? Well,
Get some goddamn internet.
That's it. Is that
Connect.
Is that all we have?
System update. Get the new update. Enjoy those ads.
Stop fucking with blades.
Dan, penis. I don't know.
Bring it home, sir.
Oh, wait, I forgot. David Letterman.
Jesus, that was like over an hour late. Again, we apologize about the shortened cast.
I don't.
We have
it's
WrestleMania to get
Pizza.
to. And pizza.
Evil Dead.
And people
Wizard staffs.
People are coming over any minute.
Beer.
So it's off to party time.
Beer.
Yeah.
This has been episode 61. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week, same time, same place.
Blackjack and hookers.
You ever meet a girl and think to yourself, she's the one. But as time goes on, you realize she ain't nothing but a hoeski. When I met you, girl, it was love at first sight. Your hair looked so good, your dress was so tight. At first I was nervous, so quiet and shy. Wasn't sure if your type was a bro from